One of my favorite cliches is be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. And that is especially true for today's video. See, I had done a video not long ago where I talked about how the range benefits of the Aptera were fading as compared to some of the competition. And the more zealous fans of the vehicle jumped down in my comments section and said, "You forgot about the efficiency, you didn't include enough about solar, and you really didn't do justice to the price benefits of this vehicle." So this brings up 2 points for me. The first one is, that wasn't the point of the video, so of course I didn't. But then the second thing is, I have heard you, and that will be what we cover in today's video, all that and more. But just like the cliche goes, I don't think either the haters or the fanboys are going to be particularly happy with what I have to say. So let's talk about that right now. Hi, this is Rich and welcome to Wings, Wheels, and Wires. I'm so happy you're here. So the Aptera is a unique and very innovative concept for a vehicle. It is very efficient, has solar power that can charge the vehicle for up to 40 miles per day, and it has ranges up to 1,000 miles, which on paper is unbeatable. But just like everything else in this world, what's on paper and what's reality might actually end up being kind of different. So in order to fully understand what I mean with this, we need to take a little trip down memory lane and talk about the history of the Aptera. Aptera started its life back in 2006 when it was originally intended to be a serial hybrid. That's right, this vehicle has been on and off in some form of production for 20 years now. Now, in 2011, the company went out of business, and for most startups, this would be the end of the story, but not Aptera. It was purchased by a Chinese firm called Zhejiang Jianwei Group, who had intended to make both a serial hybrid version and a fully electric version. And this may or may not be where they came up with the idea for solar. Now, the company never actually produced even one vehicle, but in 2019, the original founders of the original company decided to reacquire the company. Now, I smoothed over some details, but this is a general idea of where we are up to this point. In 2019, Aptera relaunched with a major change, going from a serial hybrid to a fully electric vehicle with solar panels to self-charge the vehicle. It also had some really nice cosmetic changes. And in 2020, they announced that they were planning to do a 314-unit limited production run in 2021. Now, as history has shown us, this did not happen in 2021 or 22 or 23. And as of May 2026, this has still not happened. Now, the haters would say that this is proof that this company is nothing but a scam and that this vehicle is never actually going to happen. I tend not to agree with that. Fans of the vehicle will say that what they're doing is taking their time to make sure the vehicle is absolutely perfect from day one. And while I agree with this, I have to say it does come at a cost, and part of that cost is credibility. Which brings me to the very big elephant in the room, and honestly the fuel for a whole lot of comments on that video, both for and against the Aptera. You see, any product ever made, the company makes claims about this product. Some are true, some aren't so much, right? And honestly, your best source for knowing what's really true is through some form of third-party testing or validation. So after so many years of development, we should have lots of independent testing or validation, right? Well, no, we don't actually. And this is a real problem, as you'll get to see as we go through the 4 pillars of the Aptera, which are range, price, design, and solar. And then afterward, I'll get into who this is good for and what my opinions are of the vehicle as a whole. Now, fans of the vehicle would want me to include a 5th pillar for efficiency, but I'll get into later in the video why this isn't even on the table. Let's start with range. In the intro, I talked about how I did an entire video based on the fact that their range advantage had decayed over the years. The ranges of 400, 600, and 1,000 miles were mind-blowing back in 2021, but not so much so today. Their most popular and launch edition version is the 400-mile version, and in 2021, it had no competition. As of today, there is some, and before it actually gets delivered to customers, there will be many more vehicles that have 400 miles of range. Now, the 600 and 1,000 mile versions are still pretty incredible if those ranges are really true, because once again, we don't have any external testing for this. Now, to be fair, not that long ago, Aptera did do a over 300-mile range road trip from Flagstaff to the Imperial Valley, which is an okay demonstration of its capability, but it loses a whole lot of its power when you take into account that the Flagstaff is at an elevation of 7,000 feet, and Imperial Valley is below sea level. This 7,000-foot drop can help your range significantly. As an example, my 115-mile BMW i3 going from the 4,000-foot elevation of Tejon Pass down into Los Angeles is able to gain somewhere between 20 and 25 miles of range. So it would be reasonable to expect that this downhill slope from 7,000 foot could have added anywhere from 60 to 100 miles additional range to the vehicle. Anyone else getting a Nikola Motors vibe from that? I realize the Nikola Motors vehicle didn't run at all, and clearly the Aptera does run, but this giving us results of rolling downhill, which a vehicle can do without even having an engine, still seems a little less than genuine. Next up is price. In 2021, the 250-mile range version started at $26,000, which was incredible. For another $4,500 or $5,000, you could move up to the 400-mile range version, which was awesome. But now here in 2026, the starting version of it, 250-mile version, is $28,000, which is still not bad. But if you want to jump up to the 400-mile version, you are talking about a starting price of $40,000, which is a $12,000 jump in price, which is really not great. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, hit that like button and subscribe button down below, and absolutely leave a comment. I enjoy hearing from all of my viewers, and I try to reply to every comment that you post. Just for some perspective, the next generation BMW i3 that will probably come out before the Aptera will have a starting price of about $50,000 and will have a starting range of somewhere above 440 miles of range. And it beats the Aptera by pretty much every metric possible, except of course for solar. Now, the Aptera will also have another $5,000 to move up to the 600-mile range, which will be pretty decent, and it'll have another $10,000 to move up to the 1,000-mile range, which sounds great on paper, but I don't think too many people are going to spend, what, $60,000 or something like that for that vehicle. Next up is design, and this is probably the most complicated area of the entire vehicle. It has a extremely unique design that is like nothing else on the road, and I'm here for it. I've said several times, I hate boring looking cars, and the Aptera is anything but boring. That said, the looks may not be for everyone. In that other video, like I'd mentioned, I was at an event looking at an Aptera, and some folks came up and saw it for the first time, and they both decided they did not like the looks of it, and one of them even said it looked like a bug. But the design of the vehicle isn't just how it looks. There's also the fact that it only has 3 wheels. And this is a great opportunity for me to separate out the general fans of the vehicle from the zealot fanboys. 3 wheels are less stable than 4 wheels. This is not up for debate. It's physics, right? This is the same reason why somebody firing with a bipod will shoot more accurately than somebody shooting standing, holding the gun, or even more accurately than somebody trying to shoot a rifle one-handed. It's the same reason why your office chair has 5 spokes and not 4, because it is the law that it has to have 5 spokes. Why? For stability. Now, let me be fair and also hit up the haters that this vehicle is not a rolling coffin. It is not just going to spontaneously flip over for no reason. That is just equally wrong. The Aptera is a reverse trike design, which is far more stable than a delta trike design, which would tend to tip over when you go into a high speed or sharp turn because the force would push you towards the outside corner. Now, it still, though, is not as stable as a 4-wheel vehicle, and contrary to what one commenter said, it is not as stable as a Miata. Unless there's something about Miata stability I don't know about. Anyone out there knowledgeable about Miatas, go ahead and let me know. Are they just prone to flip over and I just don't know about it? Another design feature is the fact that the Aptera has only 2 seats. Now, as a secondary vehicle, as a commuter, for somebody who's single, for empty nesters, this could be a great option. But for anyone with a family or who plans to take other people with them frequently, this is a no-starter, right? But no vehicle's made for everybody, and the Aptera does not need to be. But the big question is, how much will the fact that it has only 2 seats affect their sales, and will that be enough to make the company fail? But this vehicle's unusual design is not just for the fun of it. And this brings us to the pillar I choose not to include, which is efficiency. You see, by having 2 seats, a fiberglass body, and a relatively small battery, this vehicle reduces weight. And that 3-wheel design that makes it less stable also reduces rolling resistance. And this body design is intended to maximize aerodynamics, which makes this an incredibly efficient vehicle. So there is no doubt that the Aptera is efficient, but is it as efficient as they claim it is? If only we had some kind of third-party testing. Well, wait, this time we do, sort of. Back in 2023, they brought the Aptera to the Pininfarina wind tunnel testing facility in Italy. And they reported very happily that the results of the wind tunnel test matched their expectations. The problem is, once again, this is still their word. We have no data from this test, not from Pininfarina and not from Aptera. We have photos of the event, we have video clips of the event, but we have no data. And this bothers me on a psychology level. See, when I was a kid and I got a great report card, I ran it home and showed my parents happily and showed it to everyone. When I didn't do so well, I hid that in the bottom of my backpack. And I can't help but get that kind of feeling from this, that if they really did have such great results, that they would want to show us. But they haven't. In reality, whether or not this is true really doesn't even matter, because the average consumer just doesn't care. They care about MPG on a gas car, but they really don't seem to concern themselves with how efficient an electric vehicle is. I guess they just assume if it's an EV, it must be efficient, which clearly means that they've never seen the numbers for a Hummer EV. Now, if you need proof of this, go watch any publicly available commercial. It'll talk about things like the range. It'll talk about things like the charge speed. But what it won't talk about is the MPGe or the miles it travels per kilowatt. Look for it. You're not going to find it. Now, should they care about it? Absolutely. But they just don't. And the proof of that is the fact that it's not there, because if the consumers cared, I assure you the ad agency would put it on there. But the fact that they don't is proof of that. Now, does this mean nobody cares? No, obviously, I'm going to have a bunch of people in the comment section tell me how much they care. There are people who care about this. A lot of these people are the people who have ordered the Aptera. But that is a small section, just like there is a small section of the population who think that the Pontiac Aztek was a good-looking vehicle. And you see how that did for the vehicle. The Aptera can indeed have the drag coefficient lower than a single mirror on a pickup truck. But if the average consumer doesn't care about it, then it doesn't matter. And that's why this is not included as one of my pillars. The last pillar is solar, and well, this one is a win for Aptera. It is going to utilize solar better than any other production vehicle ever made, period. Now, will it deliver as well as they are claiming? Once again, we have no way of knowing. Now, I have had a lot of comments from viewers that are clearly much smarter on this than I am, and they gave some analysis stating that they don't think it's going to deliver the way Aptera is claiming. But even if it is only half as good as Aptera is claiming, it's still going to be market leading, and this is definitely a plus. Now it's time to answer the hard questions, with the first one being, is Aptera a scam? Critics of the vehicle would cite the fact that they are 20 years off and on in production and still haven't produced a vehicle. And in the past few years, they've raised a massive amount of money and still haven't produced a single vehicle. And because of that, they say yes. As a side note, I did have one really interesting comment from a viewer who said that the vehicle is not a scam, but that the company is. The way they separated that out is that while they do believe in the vehicle and they do believe that it's going to be produced, that the fact that the leadership of the company are making very large paychecks while the company has taken 6 years to not deliver a single vehicle is the reason why they feel that the company is a scam. Now, fans of the vehicle will point out that they have made a great deal of progress in the last year, all the way up to and including having just announced 5 validation-ready vehicles rolled off of their fully ready-to-go assembly line. And they would cite this as being a very good sign this vehicle is indeed not only going to happen, but happen soon. And I tend to agree with them on this. The next big question is, will this vehicle succeed? Now, haters will say, no, it won't, because nobody wants this vehicle. But the fact that there are fans to disagree with that, and there are a great many pre-orders already for the vehicle, for me is a sign that there is a market for it. And I think there's more of a market than just the existing fans. You see, besides the use case of singles or couples that don't want to have extra seats in their vehicle, there's also the fact that this solves one of the barriers to EV adoption. You see, for people who have home charging and solar and everything, EVs are an easy transition. But if you live in, for example, an apartment complex that doesn't have access to any kind of charging, this is a potential barrier to keep you from buying an EV. And an EV that can charge itself up to 40 miles per day is a great way to overcome that barrier, right? If you have a short enough commute, you may never need to charge your car. So it doesn't matter if you have charging available or not. If you've gotten this far in the video, thank you very much. If you want to support the channel, consider becoming a channel member for additional benefits, or head on down to the merch store, get yourself a Wings, Wheels, and Wires cap. And the last question is, should you buy it? And well, honestly, that's up to you. I'm not going to say whether you should or should not buy it. What I will say is that if the vehicle matches your needs, awesome, go for it. The only caveat I will throw in there is anytime you buy any vehicle from any startup, you run the risk of the company going out of business, and then you don't have parts, mechanical support, or software support for the vehicle. And that's for any startup. I mean, just ask anyone who owns a Fisker Ocean. For me, where I stand with the Aptera is an evolving situation. Back when I placed my order back in 2022, there was about a 70% chance that I would have purchased it if it was delivered at that point. When I made my Aptera range video, it probably dropped down to about 25%. And now, as I sit here today, it's less than a 10% chance. The benefits of the vehicle versus the sacrifices I would have to make just don't add up for me. It doesn't work for me. And new and better competition to this vehicle is coming out every day, making it make less and less sense for me. Now, my chances of buying the vehicle would still be somewhere in the 20s if I thought for even 1 second that they would honor the originally quoted price that I had when I built the vehicle, as many startups do, albeit sometimes because of lawsuits. But I know for a fact that they won't. And how do I know this? Well, about 2 years ago, they deleted the price from the website, meaning that I can't even tell you exactly what my original build price was at this point. Okay, so that's my take on the Aptera. Go ahead and let me know down in the comment section below, what do you think? I know my last Aptera video, there were a whole lot of really strong opinions, both for and against, and I'd be surprised if I didn't get the same sort of thing this time. So don't let me down. Go ahead and comment. Also, thanks for watching this far, and hey, check out this video.